Hello, I'm Alan Furstenberg,
And I'm Mark Tucker, and we are Two Voice Devs.
Two Voice Devs. Happy Thanksgiving, Mark.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too, and to everybody that's out there.
It is great to have all of you with us today. We're going to make this episode a little short because we want you to be able to get back to your family and friends. But we wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of thank a bunch of people who have meant a lot to us this year. And I think we actually want to start with an outtake from another episode that we did where we started thanking a bunch of people, and you'll see why in a second. But we thought it fits well really here. So let's go to the videotape.
It was a holiday here in the US, Veterans Day. And so just wanted to say thank you, Ellen. I know that you've done military service, and anybody else out there that's listening or watching, I appreciate serving your country.
No, thank you, Mark. One of the things that I think of a lot as a veteran is that we always set aside a day for veterans to recognize their service to the country. But so many people have, contributed to the safety and defense and the growth of what makes this country what it is. And we don't always have days for them. So, as somebody who's a veteran, I'm proud to have served. I'm glad that this was how I could serve my country. And I hope that everybody is finding the ways that they can serve their country in the way that's best for them. I'm proud to be a veteran. I hope everyone else is proud to serve as well in whatever capacity you serve.
I agree.
So yeah, I think that was meaningful. And I think that, in some ways that encapsulates some of what Thanksgiving is. It's people who are doing things that are meaningful to us and to others. I think that's important.
Yeah, and it's good to take just time out and think about, in your personal life, what you're thankful for and who you're thankful for. And we're going to take a few minutes here and just talk about some groups, individuals that have meant a lot to us in the world of voice development and just in our technical careers. Lives this last year. Yeah. So I don't know, do you want to go ahead and give us a start there, Alan?
So I think first I wanted to call out a couple of people in Google's developer relations group who have, you'll often hear me be very frustrated with Google DevRel and with Google in general, but there are a lot of people there who do work really hard to bring us as developers the stuff that we work with. And in particular, I wanted to call out Mike Bafulco and Jessica Early-Chaw, who are two fantastic people on DevRel who, when I send them messages, will almost always immediately respond. And then even more so, I want to particularly call out Nick Felker, who I understand has just left the DevRel team, still working for Google in a different division. But Nick has always been, a real champion of developers. He's been helping people out a lot on Stack Overflow the past year, a bunch on all of the various communication channels. If you've had a question, it was almost always Nick who would be the Googler who was out there answering it. Nick joined a bunch of my office hours. He joined a bunch of voice lunch sessions. He's really been, like I said, a champion of developers. And I'm sorry to see him leave the DevRel team, but I wish him the best in his new on his new team. I think he's going to enjoy it a lot.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Nick and Jessica are two that I know, and they've just been really great people. So on my side, on the Alexa side of things, I would like to just do a shout out to the Alexa presentation language, or APL team. They've just been really responsive with some of the questions that I've had, or as I'm exploring new concepts and things. And so, there's lots of developers and evangelists at Amazon that are helpful, but just an extra shout out to the APL team this year.
No, and that's a good one. I think it's important to remember that behind these products, and even behind some of the few faces that we see, there are lots and lots of developers and project managers, and and it takes a lot, and testers and conversation designers and other design. It takes a lot of people to make the technology that we're taking advantage of. And a lot of them are faceless and nameless. And I think it's really important that we recognize the work that they're doing. So yeah, I agree. Thanks to the APL team in particular, but to the project engineers in general who are doing some of this fantastic work.
Yeah, and while we're talking about APL, I just want to do a shout out to a few more. One of the top people I want to recognize is Alexander Martin. If you haven't used the APL Ninja site, then definitely check it out. There was a post that he did a little while ago, basically showing a year ago when he first came out with APL Ninja, kind of what it looked like. And he's been constantly making updates to features and making it, if you're not sure what APL Ninja is, it's like a code pen where you can do JavaScript type sharing, but all focused on APL. That should have been easier to say, huh? But thankful to Alexander for listening to my feedback, and in some cases staying up late into the night. He's over in Europe and just implementing features, and sometimes we joke with each other that we don't ever sleep because it seems like one of us is always on social media talking back and forth with one another. So thanks to that, and because of that site and because of the help I've received, I've been doing a number of videos with Dabble Lab on doing APL. And so just a shout out to Steve and Daniela for their help in opportunity, I guess, first of all, to do those videos and post them through their channel, and also some of the help that they've given with preparing those videos and all the stuff behind the scenes to get things actually published. So thanks to them too.
No, it's fantastic when we make connections like that, and with the technology we have, make connections around the world. I think one of the group that I want to thank a lot are some of my regulars that come to my office hours. I've got a group of a good 5 or 6 people who will show up at most of them, or at least certain ones during the time of day. And many of our conversations there have sparked conversations that have turned into this podcast, and that's been great. But in particular, I want to thank Dennis, who has been at nearly every single office hours that I've run, has sometimes filled in for me at office hours, is just as much, it's almost as much his office hours as mine. Similarly, he's in Europe, and we joke that we seem to have, between the two of us, we never seem to sleep given the hours that we have coverage for. He's been a great sounding board, a great person to help me brainstorm and solve problems with and commiserate with when we deal with some of the issues. He's a fellow GDE, so he sees some of my frustrations at times, but also helps me work through them. So I really, really appreciate him being there as a friend, and everyone in my office hours for providing a good sounding board for ideas.
Yeah, no, Dennis is great, and thank you for doing the office hours. I know I've popped into a few of those, and it's always a good conversation.
If we're going to start doing mutual admiration at this point, I want to thank you for a lot that you're doing for the community as well. The video series that you're now doing on APL specifically. And, I've seen the number of people that have mentioned that you've helped them with problems directly or indirectly has been tremendous.
Well, and we have to thank Voice Lens, right? Is that where you met Dennis as well?
No, I actually met Dennis. Dennis and I had known each other as GDEs before then, but not terribly well. But it was through Voice Lunch that I think we really created this friendship that we have. And yeah, I would agree that it was through Voice Lunch that you and I created the friendship that we have. And I think both of us could go through a huge list of people that we either made friends with or solidified our friendship with because of Voice Lunch. And I think most of all, Michal and Carol have just done an amazing job there. And I know Carol is stepping back a little bit and is taking some time for personal reasons. And, I think both of us wish him and his family all the best during this time. And I don't think we want to talk too much more about it, but we are thinking about you, Carol.
Yeah, we are. May the voice be with you.
Always.
Always. So yeah, just Voice Lunch is still a great place to go to just take a break or to connect with others. And it continues to deliver that.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic resource, both for beginners and people who have been around and people who are just curious, are trying, it's wonderful to see that we are still getting people who are new to voice drop in and within a few weeks become very active participants.
So on the technical side, Jovo has been doing quite a bit, and I've been a big fan of Jovo for I think the last 4 years, and they've just came out with their new version 4. I think it was actually just announced, and just big thanks to them for the tools that they've created and the effort that they continue to put into developer tools and frameworks to help create voice experiences regardless of the platform.
Yeah, no, Jovo has been fantastic, and it's a great team of people as well.
Yeah.
I think we should look forward to getting some of them on at some point next year, just to give us a developer perspective on how to use Jovo and what it means. So yeah, look for that next year. This is, in some ways it's a bit odd for me, but one of the people I really want to thank, and I really want to make sure they appreciate, is my boss and my company. Gene, I've known Gene for literal decades, and there are certainly times that he's been more tolerant of me than others, and times he has been a fantastic friend and a fantastic mentor. And as I started getting into voice, he encouraged it, and he still encourages it, which is nice. So it's nice to have that kind of support from my company and my boss, even though it doesn't always directly apply to the work that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So I really appreciate that, and as always, I've thanked him many, many times over the years, and once again, I want to thank him.
Oh, that's great. And I had on my list as well, Rain. So Rain is a great group of very talented people, and I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary working at Rain, and it's just been a good year. It's been busy in some cases. It's been hard, and there's been problems that have been tough with clients, but I continue to learn, and I continue to be excited about voice and where it's going, and it's just been a great experience. No,
that's fantastic. Work is work sometimes. It's not always, easy, but it's not always enjoyable. It's not always satisfying. Sometimes it's work. But certainly finding the right companies to work with, even make those tough times a little bit easier. Just, I think we've both been in companies, and we've talked about this way early on, where we were not always appreciated for what we were doing. And it was, it was work, and there was no upside to it. It was just work. So it's good when we have those companies that do help, that are there for us.
Right.
But one of the things that I think, I know both of us also want to thank our families who have endured closed doors while we were recording, times when, we were doing editing or planning, certainly endure us through our work sometimes.
Yes.
But have always been there for us. So I very much appreciate my family and my loved ones who have been there through me for all of this.
Yeah, I appreciate my family as well. This takes a lot of time, to do your full-time job and then do anything on the side, this podcast, or continue to learn new technologies or share in the community. And so just appreciate them, and I even appreciate when they tease me sometimes about what I do.
It wouldn't be family if they didn't.
That's true. So I think it's time for me to get back as well to the family and stuff on Thanksgiving. So we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and we appreciate all of you that are listening or participate not only in the voice community, but also through this podcast and the feedback that you give us.
Your feedback is wonderful. We thank you both for what you're giving to us and what we hope you're giving to everyone else. Thank you, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yep. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving.
We are Two Voice Devs.
Two Voice Devs.